But it's about time that we kick this second game in the semi-final off. This time it's going to be Tribe moving over to the A side, and we'll see how that's going to shift the balance here as we head on into the draft.
Yeah, looking at their past history, they banned Blackfeather A side once, but instead they're going to switch it up and just take away the Sky. That's a very interesting ban from Tribe there.
Yeah, probably the first time, I believe, all worlds that we've seen Sky as a first ban on A side in particular. So definitely shaking things up, excuse me, and making Cloud9 have to make a decision in where they want to go with their ban.
If Tribe won't go with the Lyra pick, that's what I'm going to expect them first. But if they're not going to do that, it's going to be the Rona, just because of how well DNZO did play it that last game. Their early game rotations, always on point. And the reason why they're not afraid of playing it against the Vox, it's a matchup that I've talked about in the past. You could easily abuse the short range that Vox has if you're playing very aggressive. If you keep getting on top of him, bursting him down, it is a matchup that can work for the Rona.
And look at the build of Rona. Last game, he built Metal Jacket. He had a Shiver Steel, and he had Tier 3 boots. You cannot run away from Rona. She has such fast cooldowns. She has a gap closer, 2 gap closers actually. So Vox actually has a hard time. If Rona plays properly, she can stick onto that Vox.
Yeah, now the decision is going to be, where does this Blackfeather show up? Does it come as a ban or as a pick? We saw last game, Tribe, they were perfectly fine with handing a Blackfeather over to the side of Cloud9 after picking up the Rona. So there is very likely not going to be banned here, and Tribe are going to be okay with Cloud9 trying to take it if they want, or they can just pick it up for themselves.
I've known Old School for 3 years now. Look at his face. He looks so dismantled after that game, and that's what they try to abuse. His mental fortitude is something that we've questioned so much in the past. Now that he's lost the game, I wonder if he's going to be able to bring back his focus up, because if he doesn't, this could be a very easy 3-0 for Tribe.
Yeah, and this is what Scoundrel and Jaws were mentioning at the end of that game as well. This is the first time that Cloud9 has lost at this event. How are they going to bounce back from that? That is what makes a champion, is being able to bounce back from a defeat.
Absolutely, but this is the World Championship. They have been preparing for this event. You expect that all 6 of these players are going to be on a level that we've previously not seen from them before. If that is a weakness of his, I'm sure that is something that has had a lot of preparation going into improving that just for this tournament.
Yeah, so let's see if Cloud is going to pick up the Arden or Grace. Personally, I prefer the Grace because she has the Holy Nova stun. They have Vox plays around the Grace. Grace can stun the Rona. We saw that with Impunity playing against it. So I think Grace would make more sense here, but they may opt for the Arden here because Max Green had a phenomenal Arden.
Yeah,
They were denied away.
If they had taken the Grace instead of the Arden, they would have been allowing Tribe to run the exact same composition that they just won with. Even still, right now, I expect Tribe to go back to that Blackfeather because it is such a strong duo. When you have Rona and Blackfeather together, they have just been putting in so much work.
Yeah,
if not the Blackfeather, it's probably going to be the Koshka because it's still open for T targets. He excels on it, plays well with the Grace, and they can play really aggressive like they did the first game.
Yeah, I was going to say Arden's taking Grace will be picked up here, and then they're going to probably finish it with Koshka because that is a lot of burst, a lot of engaged potential here from Rona, Grace, and Koshka. Vox is going to have a really hard time here.
Yeah, this is such a good draft for Tribe. We talk about the Rona Blackfeather. Koshka fills a very similar role, extremely mobile, high burst damage. But now paired with the Grace, you have that dive hero to go along with it and provide those heals for either one of these two. Whichever one gets low, whichever one gets focused, all of a sudden Divine Intervention comes out, they're right back in the fight.
What makes sense here, honestly, if they want to play it, is Rhyme. Rhyme is still strong. He'll have a weaker early game, but Koshka can steal his jungle. But mid to late game, Rhyme is going to destroy that composition because of AoE damage and his ability to root and protect the Vox.
The other thing that they could go for is the Baptiste. Back when Koshka was so strong in Spring Championship, Cloud9 was the team that beat it, and they beat it with Baptiste, but instead they're going to go for the CP Blackfeather. That's a tough matchup to play in the early game.
This is very, very risky. CP Blackfeather doesn't have the greatest of clear speeds. Koshka and Grace have phenomenal clear speed. I fully expect Tribe to do exactly what they did in game number 1 and just incessantly invade the Cloud9 jungle.
Yeah, and CP Blackfeather is a little weaker too early game. Koshka is just so dominant. And again, rotation-wise, Tribe is the better team at these early games.
Close to that.
Well, we'll see if T-Tigers can keep up that pressure. We're going to jump on to the fold for game number 2. Swapping sides this time around. I want to see how aggressive they are in terms of their jungle clear as well, because we saw Tribe last time all prioritize their Elder Treant, and you can imagine they're going to do just that.
Yeah, C9 look like they want to go for Elder Treant first again. They want to make sure that they don't have to fight Tribe, especially at level 2. Really important they avoid early duels like that, and C9 once again going to go straight for that Elder Treant on first rotation. Now C9 didn't get the second rotation of this because the clear speed from the Fortress is too slow. Blackweather's a little bit quicker, but not that much quicker on his first rotation, so you'd expect C9 to potentially have some issues, especially when they come to that next rotation of the Elder Treant.
Yeah, Max Green providing a little bit of an annoyance, but Tribe, you can see how quickly they have actually rotated. T-Tigers now on those double fronts. Max Green even sealing these away as well. We're already going to be inching ahead in CS over I Love Joseph.
Yeah, he's already going to start pushing in that lane, D'Enzio there. Joseph and Old School have had to take a very slow rotation around the jungle just to make sure that they are safe in doing so. Early minion candy in the lane here, it looks like, for D'Enzio, going to make it slightly more difficult for Old School to farm this up as it heads towards that turret.
A benediction damage, jeez. D'Enzio takes a large chunk out of Old School as well, already falling to about a quarter HP. He's really feeling the pain. In fact, he's felt the pain throughout this entire series thus far. Max Green and D'Enzio recognizing that game number 1, Old School wanted to buy loads of minion candies, and they bought one themselves as well in the level 1. T-Tiger's already taking a large chunk out of Joseph as well, but Gabe Vizzle is going to jump in with a Vanguard, just leading to safety.
They're going to put down a scout trap as well, just to monitor whether Old School or Joseph coming to contest this Elder Treant. They're actually going to move through this jungle now, look to be aggressive once more. This is what they did last time. They just looked to rotate as a unit, keep themselves out as lane as long as possible, and just utilize their very early jungle pressure to kind of put Joseph on the back burner. And again, T-Tigers, front Treant is his once more. This is really smelling the same as it did last game. It's deja vu.
Literally like we're watching game number 1 all over again, apart from there's different heroes and they've swapped sides, in all honesty. Max Green actually picking up 2 different kinds of contracts there as well. He's got the Dragon Blood and he has Protector contract online as well. Determined to roam with T-Tigers and make sure he gets all the space necessary in these in the jungle clears. D'Enzio once again buying that minion candy to push Old School in to force him under the turret as well so they can roam freely.
Old School's changed his build-up this time round. He's going to go towards a Poison Shiv. That is far more viable this time round. I think you have to respect the Rona sustain, but also the fact that you're going up against the Grace. She's got that Divine Intervention. It's going to give you a huge amount of burst healing. You definitely want to apply Mortal Wounds for that. Elder Treant, I just don't expect C9 to really realistically contest for this apart from a steal, and that's why Tribe are going in.
Bouncy fun straight onto Old School into the fray as well from D'Enzio. Vanguard to keep him to safety. A Sonic Zoom backwards. T-Tigers going fairly low. Holy Nova did land on Gabe Vizzle. That'll be C9 disengaging completely, and T-Tigers once again taking that front cam. Old School got rooted up. He's all good. Treant did die in the end, but T-Tigers undeterred is going to move in, take that back camp again. Old School caught out. Wrong place, wrong time. Try find first blood again. D'Enzio gets number 1 on the board.
And T-Tigers did such a good job of drawing in C9 right there. They went for the double backs. T-Tigers made it look like he was isolated. C9 potentially had the option to split up Tribe, but Tribe wanted that exactly because they have got such great engage from the Rona with her into the fray, and obviously the benediction from Grace. They are easily able to follow up if T-Tigers gets collapsed on. He baited Old School to make that move, and they punished Old School for doing so. Again, the early jungle pressure just seems too much for C9 to contend with. This is a Tribe. We really haven't seen this level of performance from them, especially against C9 before, harking back to the Unified Western Live Championships when these teams went head-to-head.
Old School getting punished again for being up in the lane. Gabe Vizzle right now playing the hero of Cloud9, just saving his skin every single time. Tribe do want to make an engage, but we got to look forward into the future, Xanadu. We've got to kind of think when Tribe are actually going to fight, because it seems obvious when Koshka hits level 6, when she's got that aftershock. And Old School is going to need to prioritize a reflex block in the near future, because T-Tigers, because he's been taking so many camps, he's about to hit level 6 as well. You can see Joseph already inching behind in CS.
Yeah, Old School's gone for a shield instead of working towards that Okai into reflex block. It makes me think that they're just looking to play as defensively as possible near the turret. You know, if D'Enzio can kind of keep the wave on his side of the lane, then they're going to bait Old School into moving forwards, because he's going to need to farm. You know, you can't really let that sort of go behind you. T-Tigers has got 10 farm above I Love Joseph right now, coming through in terms of that aggression that he's had in the enemy jungle, and they're going to continue that pressure now. Level 6 with T-Tigers, he can look to make these kind of aggressive plays.
They have the spawn times of this camp down. Oh, Joseph is here, but A Twirly Death will finish it off. T-Tigers, look at the jungle control from him is just absolutely stupendous.
Yeah.
Ultimate is available too now as well for T-Tigers. Old School and Joseph are going to have to be very careful, but Old School did go back, didn't pick up any more damage apart from finishing that poison shift, but has the reflex block online now also.
Yeah, a very defensive build from Old School. I think they realized that they absolutely need to avoid fighting in this mid game, but Tribe, they can do exactly what they did the previous time. They've got such a spike in the jungle right now for T-Tigers. The Aftershock completed with some defensive itemization online. They can go for things like Gold Miner when it starts to stack up. They can look to pressure that Crystal Sentry as well, and Cloud9, because they've had to be so defensive with their builds, because they've had to be so respectful and sort of falling behind on farm, there's no way that they can contest these kinds of things, and it just feels like the same story is unfolding. C9 losing that early jungle and just aren't able to recuperate.
Benediction onto Old School, going fairly low. Vanguard from Gabe Fizzle, keep him alive. Now, Old School doesn't quite look like Gold School this time around. Dienzio keeping up in farm, Infusion on board. They're going to take these front camps also. In fact, ignore that completely. Dienzio has actually popped that Infusion, so maybe looking for a fight fairly early on. He's got his own reflex block also. That will probably be for that gauntlet when Gabe Fizzle hits that level 6. Maybe that's actually when they want to fight.
I just think they just avoid Tribe at this point. I think that the Infusion is popped because they're probably going to go for Gold Miner, and that's going to force C9 to react. C9 probably just going to give this one up for free, but it's more global gold that Tribe are going to put in their back pockets. More global gold that are going to make Tribe hit those item spikes that much quicker. C9 have to be super careful, and this is the problem. You know, Old School's really overextended here. He's going to be super careful.
He has to be very careful. Although T-Tigers isn't in that brush, so he wasn't really scared of the Yummy Catnip Frenzy being unleashed. T-Tigers is level 8 though. Look at Joseph, only level 6 right now. They can jump onto Old School. Twirly Death does a little bit of damage, but this is going to be kind of, I think, the next couple of minutes, in all honesty, unless they go for some crazy turret dive, just pushing in Old School time and time again, just disrupting Joseph. Look, you do not own that front camp. That is T-Tigers. That is his property. Same with this double fronts as well. They have control of the item shop also. And
that just gives that massive experience advantage that T-Tigers has opened up. Every single front camp he has taken from Old School since about 3 minutes from Joseph since about 3 minutes, and Joseph has just fallen so far behind. He's gone for this Aftershock build on the Black Feather, looking to be a bit more aggressive in melee range. It's because he knows that the engage from Tribe is that good that having something like a Shattered Glass is only going to be good for a limited period of time. C9, they don't look comfortable playing from the levels behind, and they have been in these games. They have been the team that has been pressuring. They have been the team setting the pace and being proactive. They do not look comfortable coming from behind.
Araki Soro said it perfectly on the desk. The camera flipped over to Old School, and he looked a little bit down. He looked a little bit distressed, maybe at the the handling that Tribe had them over game number 1. They just have to be able to recollect their thoughts, rinse, reset, play this like a brand new game, brand new in the series. T-Tigers 1v3ing that cam, Cloud9, no word in. Old School is even going to get punished here a little bit as well. They're going to be able to stop him from moving up towards this turret and get a little bit damage down onto it as well. 3 members versus 1. That's just going to go down instantly. No worries. First turret to try.
Oh, T-Tigers did such a good job of zoning out Old School to make it very difficult for him to find an easy path back to that turret. Joseph and Gabe Fizzle had back. They gave that turret up for free. Cloud9 knew they couldn't contest it. This is a massive gold advantage opening up now at just 8 minutes. 3,500 almost in the bank in advantage of Tribe. And it's just because Cloud9 have been unable to contest anything of any value, including their own front camps.
It was 5,000 gold lead at 13 minutes into the game. That's exactly where it's heading for right now. Like we mentioned a couple of minutes ago, seems like exactly the same game as number 1.
Yeah.
Where Tribe just take complete control of Cloud9's jungle. This live buff isn't just a live buff anymore. This is Tribe showing up to a new level we've not seen them before. Cloud9's first loss was last game. Tribe do not seem to be they don't seem to be letting off the gas pedal anytime soon.
C9 really need to think of something. If this goes to a game 2 to Tribe, they need to think of some way to put pressure on T-Tigers. He's been basically stamped himself as the most dominant and aggressive jungler here at the World Championship. And even I Love Joseph, who is known to have great control in the jungle, known to be super aggressive, known to have one of the best jungles in North America, he's getting almost manhandled by T-Tigers. The entire Tribe roster has put C9 into a position that they haven't been in before, and it's made them look very uncomfortable.
They're going to go for an engage. Dienzio over the wall, using that into the fray. Gauntlet gets laid down. No one's going to get stunned up just yet because they want to fight in melee mode. Red Mist is going to get opened up. There's the Divine Intervention to keep him alive. Dienzio refusing to go down. T-Tiger's dodging in and out of the bush, trying to find Old School. He splits up. Crystal Sentry goes down in the middle of that as well, but T-Tiger's falls.
Oh, they turn this around.
Cloud9 are going to turn it around. They find one, but instantly Dienzio cuts down Old School. 1 kill, 2 kills, 3. Dienzio with the triple kill and the ace.
Unbelievable. It looked like C9 had brought that back, but Dienzio, you can never count out a Rona just spinning in melee range. Let's take a look at that again. It was a really nice engage by Tribe. Immediately put Old School into a position where he has to kite backwards. They keep them locked in that gauntlet, and they're actually able to get out of it. But watch this. Watch this. C9 are kiting around. The fountain comes out. Obviously, now T-Tiger's on the outside is looking to put pressure onto Old School. He's cutting backwards, missed a couple of basic attacks there, but they eventually take T-Tigers down. At this point, Dienzio has built up a ridiculous amount of stacks. He's been able to get a huge amount of sustain out from that Serpent's Mask, and he's kind of being unnoticed and untouched throughout that fight. This is what happens when you leave a Rona to her own devices, especially with a breaking point.
That was absolutely ridiculous. Dienzio is a monster at 4-0. Cloud9, like you said, it looked like it was going to be their fight, but they need to be able to stack those mortal wounds a lot quicker. They just can't, because Old School is just constantly kiting backwards, trying to get away from the Red Mist, but Dienzio has so much chase, and so does T-Tigers. T-Tigers right now feels like a little bit of a scapegoat. They want to be able to focus him to take him out of the fight, but they're ignoring Dienzio.
Yeah, exactly, and it's very difficult to take Dienzio down, especially alongside a Grace. Grace used her Divine Intervention on Dienzio that last fight, that kept him healthy, that gave him more room to breathe, and then when T-Tigers jumps in and out, it's so difficult as a carry to know where to focus, especially when you're being dived by 2 heavy melee hitting heroes. So when T-Tigers jumps in, Old School switches his focus, that's when Dienzio pounces. Then T-Tigers, being the kind of hero that he is on Koshka, he can get out of the fight really quickly, can jump back in with Pouncy Fun. It's very difficult to focus him down because it's so difficult to chase a Koshka. And now Echo gets finished up on Max Green. He's got that ability to get that double Divine Intervention down, especially powerful for both Dienzio and T-Tigers, who are going to be in that front line.
That is it. It's only going to get worse from here on out. Double Divine Intervention. Even a Broken Myth finished for T-Tigers as well. So he is just chewing through the shielding of Old School. And if you actually look at his build at the moment, he's only just upgraded to a tier 2 shielding. He recognizes now that you need that against T-Tigers. He's ripping you apart, even though that Koshka is fairly squishy.
And look at what Tribe have done again. This is something that they did last game. They really focused on the fact that the late game win condition for C9 has been Old School on this Vox. Double Atlas Pauldrons. T-Tigers went for this before he even finished his Broken Myth. Grace has got one on Max Green, and T-Tigers has got one on Koshka. They dive in, double Atlas Pauldrons, they don't have enough blocks to block both of them, and Old School's going to be put out the fight for a limited period of time, which means that he's going to be unable to frequently stack or easily stack that breaking point, which really limits a team fight win condition for Old School, because he needs that attack speed to start stacking up that breaking point. So they're really focusing on the one win condition that realistically C9 have, which is this ability to kite away with Old School, build breaking point stacks, and make it very hard to chase him down. They're going to try and shut that down straight away.
We're doing a good job of shutting him down already. However, he has got that breaking point online now as well, so the longer the fights go on, the harder he's going to hit. Infusion as well has been picked up, more importantly, to give him that added boost in the team fights. Tribe continue their domination of the jungle, refusing to let Cloud9 farm, and their Crystal Sentry only has 1 life left also. Not quite as quick as game number 1, eliminated in about 9 minutes, but gold miner control as well for Tribe. We are 14 minutes into the game. It is a 6,000 gold lead. That's 1k over than their advantage in game number 1 as well. You can see it feels like even they're just snowballing from game 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Dienzio said to Dalsy this morning, he said, if we win game 1, we win the series. They're certainly playing like that is the case this time round. They have got a huge amount of confidence. I spoke to Dienzio right at the start of this tournament, and he said, we're going to win. Now, we're confident. We're going to win this whole thing. Even through C9, the team that has looked the most dominant in this entire tournament, Tribe are making it look like child's play right now. It's crazy, the difference in performance from C9 yesterday to C9 today, and Tribe are making it look that way. Gabriel's picked up an Echo of his own. He's got that ability to get the double gauntlet down. That might be now harder for a very movement speed focused Tribe to negotiate their way through those double gauntlet walls. That might be a way to provide some barriers for Old School.
Well, T-Tigers doesn't have a reflex block, but we do have a Crucible on Max Green, so he's going to have to rely on that himself. Dienzio has got his own reflex block as well, so realistically, T-Tigers are just going to have to play around that. Again, permanently in their jungle, it's going to steal that away.
Oh no, Joseph got it.
First
First one of the game, boys.
First one of the game.
Looks like they're going to go straight for this Kraken. C9 again. This is where they fell folly last time. They let this go. Gabe Vizzle's not going to let it happen this game time again.
Boots from Gabe Vizzle. They're going to jump straight on an Old School. Gabe Vizzle is on the other side of the wall. He goes over with the Vanguard, keeping Old School alive. Attacks speed slow call and it gets opened up, but the cage is in the wrong place. He didn't even activate the Echo. He double Vanguarded it, Scoundrels, so there was no double cage to be fought in. And now they go straight back on the Kraken.
Yeah, and C9 have just got to back off. Joseph may be looking for a hero steal here. He might look for that on point. It can work sometimes. It's a decent amount of burst here.
They know it's a possibility. They're going to turn straight onto Old School yet again, who steps up to the plate. Aegis to actually slow his attack speed down. He's in a lot of trouble. Fountain to keep him alive, but he's slowed down by the Shiver Steel. Also, Red Mist onto 3 people. The 11 breaking point.
He's
Stacking up. He's already gone down. Make that 18, 19, 20 breaking point stacks. And Dienzio and T-Tigers clean up the carries of Cloud9.
And Cloud9 just too far behind. The Shiver Steel slowing Old School down to an incredible margin, and it makes it so easy for Dienzio to capitalize and take him out. You've got to feel like this Rona is worth a ban at some point. It is tearing apart this Cloud9 composition. They're going to get the Kraken now. I don't even know if anything the Cloud9 can do about it. Crazy how dominant Tribe look against one of the best teams in the world right now.
They knew when to pull the trigger because not moments ago, Gabe Vizzle blew the gauntlet. He didn't have that available for go for the disengage and the trapping in of Tribe. They're going to be able to unleash the Kraken. Get a little bit of extra gold as well. They're going to move up to the lane after they've taken their jungle. Also reminiscent of game number 1, 8,000 gold lead in the well. That gold graph is just going up and up and up for Tribe.
Cloud9 are going to have to reflect on this game because Tribe have crushed that early jungle, and that has been the pain point for C9. The laning phase hasn't even been a thing because there really hasn't been a laning phase to speak of. The whole game has been fought around the jungle, and T-Tigers has absolutely dominated it. Joseph has looked dead in the water, and it might just be because these hero matchups that he's put on are really bad. Every hero matchup he's had right now has been a weak early jungle. Joseph needs to be on something stronger.
Well, T-Tigers gets the last pick in the draft as well all the time, so they can try and counteract that. Benediction in, they're going to get the attack speed slow as well onto Old School. His damage is going to get reduced in that regard. Joseph going fairly low, has to back off. Kraken opens up the base. Divine Intervention on Dienzio to keep him nice and healthy, and he uses the Echo to make sure he has that available in the next fight. Gauntlet gets laid down. Dienzio going very low. Silence comes out from the way for it, but the Divine Intervention keeps him alive. Red Mist chewing up 3 people. There goes the first arrow. Second one's going to be on the menu. They get the kill on to Dienzio. They have to back out. T-Tigers running, pouncing away. Max Green falls as well. Nice little bounty of gold for Cloud9. They kill the Kraken, but that turret is on an inch of HP.
And they really need to be careful because there is a real possibility that Tribe can rush that if they don't keep vision up around this jungle. But it is a win for Cloud9 in one form or another. They defend their base. That is a massive milestone for them because they have lost every single team fight so far in this game. This is the first one they've actually come out on top, and admittedly Tribe overcommitted to winning that game right there, but credit to Cloud9, they managed to bring things back. Old School now working towards what I imagine is going to be a Sorrow Blade. I was wondering whether he would think for something like a Bone Saw, but Rona hasn't picked up any armor. Rona has gone for a triple offensive item build, so then Old School realizes Rona being the biggest threat to him, one that's going to stick to him the most. He doesn't exactly need that Bone Saw, which is why he sold that Swift Shooter early on and switched up for a Heavy Steel going towards a Sorrow Blade.
Cloud9 only just managed to get that first tier turret. They've got 4 more in their way in order to take down Tribe in this game number 2, but Tribe right now, they're on a high and they're not willing to come down from the peak.
You are starting to see item spikes picked up here for Cloud9. You've got a full build Vox almost now. He just needs to finish up that metal jacket and his boots. We'll need to refresh his infusion before the next fight, so it's important that he gets some farm under his belt. Joseph has picked up his Aegis, he's picked up 2 items, he's got a bit of armor. Things are starting to even out. You know, gold differences at this point in the game are going to mean less and less because the core item spikes have been hit. But check out T-Tigers. He's picked up another Crucible, realizing that double gauntlet is super important to be able to navigate through. They are going to get 2 Crucibles to make sure that it's easy for them to find their targets.
Fantastic itemization, because he doesn't really need the damage. They know Dienzio is the one that's going to output the most with that Sorrow Blade pickup. Not something we normally see from the Ronas either, because they normally itemize in defense, relying on that breaking point stacking up to around 20 in order to get out the majority of the damage.
He's looking for heavy burst damage with this Sorrow Blade. I mean, he's really looking to take that one opportunity to blow Old School up as quickly as possible. The only problem is that he is weaker to Old School now, not having any armor in case. C9 here comes the Gauntlet.
There's the Gauntlet, it gets laid down, the cage has been set, the fight has just begun. Does use that Crucible, that Echo is actually going to go onto a Vanguard. Yummy Candy Frenzy on the front line. Oh, Gabe Bizzle is so low, Fountain popped, but doesn't keep him alive. Dienzio receives the Divine Intervention, T-Tiger's moving forward. Old School scores 17 breaking point stats. He blocks the Atlas Moltres as well. Max Green going low, T-Tigers jumps back in, Red Mist opens
He
up.
gets one kill! He gets one kill!
They're so low, Dienzio low, has to back off. Max Green so close to going down.
Oh,
Dienzio falls to Joseph, and Cloud9 win a back-to-back fight.
Old School, the greatest laner of all time on his Vox. He hits his item spikes, he takes the fight. That was the best team fight I have seen at this World Championships. Gabe knows they have to start the engage. He takes that Bright Land that they don't get through that Gauntlet straight away. It gives Old School so much time to kite back and find a good position. The Yummy Catnip Frenzy used onto Gabe. They spend all their resources taking him down, but Old School is just stacking and stacking and stacking, and then he blocks the Atlas. The most important part of this entire fight is the Atlas block that allows him to maintain that attack speed, maintain that damage, and somehow keeps himself alive, running straight through Dienzio's Red Mist. What an incredible fight. Is this the turning point of the game, Jaws?
7 kills apiece. This might be the turning point. They are 6,000 gold behind, but the Kraken is on their side. Tribe now have to be able to take it out. Gabe Fizzle lays down the cage. Max Serene goes in with a benediction. Another cage gets laid down. Look at the maneuvers they can do. Diencio's on the back line already. Divine Intervention tries to heal him up. Another into the fray onto Joseph, and Old School still trying to climb back.
He's doing it.
Stacks. He's going to do it again if they're not careful. Red Mist to heal him up, but he goes down. T-Tigers is going to fall as well if he's not careful. Double Holy Nova. They trade 1-for-1 as Joseph and Dienzio fall down, but they're going to chase Max Green. Old School, 20 breaking point stacks, manages to take down Max Green in a couple of seconds. Kraken still marching on the base. Could this be the turnaround Cloud9 are after?
T-Tigers is there, defending against it, but the Kraken is starting to push in. Cloud9, they're a long way away from the base. Old School doesn't have much energy. This might be a heroic defense from T-Tigers here. Gabe is pushing in, but I don't think they've got enough time to deal with this. T-Tigers should get it. Oh my word, and Dienzio has made the right choice. He's sold the Shiver Steel for the armor. It has been too easy for Old School to burst him down at this point in time. This is the late game win condition against a heavy melee composition that C9 have got. Vox is good into these heroes for the reason that he is one of the most mobile ranged carries in the game. It's why he's retained popularity through metas and updates and changes. Vox is always in the lane simply because of that mobility. It makes him so hard to chase down in some instances. They've lost the Shiver Steel, so they're not going to be able to slow him down as much, but now Dienzio is going to have some form of defense against Old School, which is, I think, at this point necessary.
Cloud9 the last 4 minutes have managed to win 2 team fights back-to-back, take the Kraken, and even the turret score as well. Only 1 turret stands between each team of taking game number 2. This next team fight will decide the game.
What a series, even if, regardless of the outcome of this game, it has already lived up to everything this semi-final should be. 2 North American Titans swinging their punches. Cloud9 defend from a single Vein Crystal turret remaining with probably 5% HP left on it and have fought their way back to equal standings in terms of those turrets.
This is why you can never count out Cloud9 either. They are the true Titans of North America. Tribe are ready to dethrone them. They did so in game number 1, but the ability to actually play back from such a deficit is what Cloud9 really are showing they know how to do. Kraken comes up from the depths as well. Is ready to be taken. whoever.
I love
so
the way that Gabe's been playing. He's been aggressive with those gauntlets. He knows that they have the advantage in these team fights. He's got the Shiver Seal to slow things down as well.
Benediction in, there's the first gauntlet. They get the attack speed, so onto Old School, and there's another gauntlet as well, separating them. But TNTO's on the other side. Now he's on top of Old School. He needs to be able to take him out. Yummy Captain Frenzy straight on top of Gabe Fizzle, and he's going to fall down first. 2v3, but already Old School breaking point stacks nearing 15. TNTO tries to get a bit of room. Old School going really low. T-Tiger's refusing to let him go out of the claws of the cat. War Treads popped by Tribe to try and get a bit of distance. Oh, what? The Elder Trainer almost actually just stuns him up. Holy Nova onto one. It's still so close. TNTO jumps back in, but Old School manages to cut him up. Double kill for an Old School. He's going to make it the ace as well. Triple kill for the best laner in North America. An ace for Cloud9.
There's a reason he's called Gold School. It's for plays like that. This is that late game Vox that works wonders against heavy melee compositions. The focus from Tribe has been Gabe. Gabe happily absorbs that damage because Joseph and Old School are left to run free.
Another turret goes down from taking 0 turrets to losing 4. We have Cloud9 taking game number 2 and evening the series 1-1.
Questions were asked. Questions were asked about Cloud9's ability to recuperate from a loss. Questions were asked whether they could play back from a deficit. It looked like in the first game they didn't have the resolve, the mental fortitude to do so. But they turtled. They held on. They found a singular team fight off the back of that Kraken push from Tribe. And they brought the game all the way back from no turrets taken from that point to every turret and the Vein Crystal. They needed to get to that late game, and they did. Suddenly, we're going to look at Cloud9 in a completely different light. They can take the early game, but they